How do you break someone else's willpower to fight? Fatigue. You easily fatigue. What's the first thing that goes? It's their will to fight. How many good fighters actually fall at a hurdle when they're exhausted? They lose their will to fight. The most important thing is to try to induce fatigue on your opponent. The more fatigue, the better. If you put no time variable on your fight, then you have to manage your own fatigue. Think of it as rocket fuel. You will burn that rocket fuel very, very quickly in a real fight. What you should work on is just managing your own fatigue, but with no end in sight. So you should be able to say to yourself, right, I can fight for an hour if I have to. Adrenaline is going to take an inordinate amount from you, but the most important thing is the psychological management of exhaustion. How do you manage that? It doesn't matter how fit you are, but that variable changes as soon as you start to fight. When you're fighting, you've got to be in control of your own body, plus be in control of the other person as well. And that's the difficulty of combat generally, whether you're in the gym or in the street. Well, the second sign always has to be your ability to manage and handle injury. But sometimes injury actually sucks someone's will to fight. How many times have you seen someone in the street or the ring or any environment in which there's a fight? The person gets hit and the first thing they do is they lose their will to fight. It's basically your first experience of that pain. It's the shock, the surprise sometimes. You might get, for example, punched in the ribs, and you do feel pain, there's no doubt about it. But some people lose their will to fight on feeling that pain. And if you add fatigue to that as well, you've now got another layer that's actually going to damage your willpower. And one of the things you will notice is the light or the fire in that person's eyes disappears. It just goes. They just don't want it anymore. The doubt is one thing. It's a very strange phenomenon to see, because you see it happen quite often that people will get fatigued, but then they'll get injured or they'll feel some sort of pain, and then they'll want to give up the fight. And this is where acceptance comes into play. You have to accept that you will get hit and you're likely to feel pain. And when you feel that pain, it's not going to be as much of a shock to you and affect your will to fight back. Accept it, suck it in, work on your breathing is always the best advice you can get when it comes to dealing with injury. The third sign has to be you lack a reason to fight. You lack perseverance. Perseverance is probably the biggest quality amongst all of them. It will draw it together. It's like a triangle. For the ultimate of willpower, you need to manage your fatigue and you need to be able to handle injury. But the last part of the triangle is you have to have a reason for perseverance. And without that, the other two factors won't come into play. If you have no reason to fight, then when the going gets tough, you'll get going. They have the why of why they want to fight. But some people fight for different reasons. They have different values, worldviews even. You know, you might insult me, and because of that, I'm fighting to defend my worldview, my family's worldview, my honor, whatever it might be. If you ever have a fight with someone that's fighting because they're protecting their honor, their dignity, it's a tough fight. And if you're representing a group, or maybe your family or friends, you've got lots of reasons to fight if you have to fight. And it could be competitive fighting, it could be street fighting, self-defense, it could be any sort of context, but the point is you have to have a reason to fight. And in a self-defense situation, my reason would be to go home to my family, to see my family, and for them not to be at my funeral. So the takeaway is whoever wants it more, whoever is able and has the will to manage their fatigue, who can put aside pain and injury in a fight, who digs into the reason of why they need to prevail in a confrontation. Those are the defining factors of what actually instills your will to persevere and to prevail in a confrontation. And it's all psychology. Thanks for watching.